What's up, folks? How y'all doing? I want to make a bit of a quick video. Late night musings. Not quite sure if I could even have the credibility to call it a late night musing. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, well, look, it's 3 o'clock somewhere in the world. That is considered the beginning of the witching hour, 3 to 5 o'clock, where all the fun, energetic, and magical activity tends to happen. Not quite sure where that lore came from or where I heard it, but it's not midnight, just telling you right now. If you want to talk about midnight, just don't feed the gremlins. That's all you have to do. Just don't fucking feed the gremlins. Or the Beetlejuice. They're gonna come after you. Anyways, so for this video, I've been doing a little bit of contemplation. And this is just commentary on culture and society and looking at the undercurrent and the shadow of the collective in relation to the pandemic. And I noticed something. And I've not heard anybody else say this, but I will be the first, probably the last, to even say what it is I'm about to say. But as per usual, I need to give context. During the pandemic, I think it is safe and fair to say that what happened, despite everything, there was a silver lining. And I think there is an underlying sickness. We live in a sick fucking society where for about 3 years, people were so obsessed with sanitization, breathing in their own CO2 in a very enclosed, overly moist thing. And people forget that you have bacteria in your fucking body regardless. You step outside into the so-called real world, you are bombarded with billions of debris, dirt, viruses, bacteria that latch onto you from the outside. But if there was one thing that was washed quite a bit, so much that you couldn't see anything, that there was nothing there, was your fucking brain. You guys were drinking that Kool-Aid, and part of your soul, part of your sanity, part of your psyche was suppressed, if not dead. And a lot of you have decided to get the magic elixir. Not once, but twice, but thrice and beyond. And you had some negative reaction to such a thing. I'm talking about the people that were so gung-ho and wanting to listen to Big Daddy Government, didn't question anything, just blindly followed everything to the fucking T. And they said it was for... They probably didn't say it, but they would agree if you said it would be for the greater good. Yeah, greater good, my fucking ass. That's the biggest load of crap. That's not something that I take very lightly, but I digress. So, those fucking people were doing the rest of us disgusting traitors, the heretics, the unclean deplorables a fucking favor. If you ended up offing yourself in that regard, you're actually making the world a better fucking place. And I do agree with that, even though that is a little bit harsh. I've said worse things than that. I find any time a person who that I see as a fucking maggot, elbows up type of maggot Canadian, and they keep perpetuating going on to the train wreck without the train even hitting them, they're the key to their own self-destruction, and I find the world will be a better place gradually over time when these people want to just, curse themselves in the fucking process and winning the Darwin Award. And we all know what it is. I don't know what the afterlife is going to be like, but as far as I'm concerned, your existence is null and void. So that's the award, and you're amongst all the blocks and blocks of nobody. The end. Good night. Blocks and blocks of nobody. Except it's not Chernobyl. It's Canada. So what I want to say is this, though. I still think from then until now, it's kind of suppressed, like that current, that flow, that thought form, that idea, the concept, that behavior is just kind of dormant right now. And I would have to say that there still is an underlying sickness going on here in Quebec. It didn't make sense to have the gyms be closed and or if it wasn't closed, have it at 50% of capacity to reduce those terrible germs. Oh dear. All of that stuff. All those germs, and yet nobody gives a flying fuck. Nobody's running on those treadmills anymore with the masks. Funny how that shit. Funny how people were being very performative at that point in time. But I'd like to come out and just say this. If there's one thing that I will not do is give government respect. These people have not earned my respect. Just as pure existence, I do not trust you. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with not liking government. There is nothing wrong with being anti-establishment, especially here in Canada. And if people want to turn around and say that this rhetoric is hate speech, well, bitch, free fucking speech, and hate speech falls under free speech. I don't follow your laws. Your Canadian charter is arbitrary. It doesn't make sense. It's meaningless. It is Swiss cheese. Rip it up. And let's be part of the United fucking States. No, I'm not that. I'm not a Russian bot. Hail Putin. I'm not a Russian bot. I can promise you I don't have any backers paying me to say this. I'm not a grifter. I have this channel for almost 11 years now, probably going on 12. I'm in November. And it's only a hobby. I'm not monetizing anything. I am just a private citizen who has access to the internet and has a few things to say. Just a few things to say. What's the harm of just putting out their opinion? Even if it is anti-establishment, nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to be anti-establishment. I don't see any issues. But no respect will be given. Sorry, no respect. But at times, there are times where you have to give certain people the credit. Not respect, but credit where credit is due, in that sense. I would give the Quebec government or the Canadian government, should they have been rational from the beginning. And again, I know that what it is I'm saying sounds a little bit outrageous, probably not as outrageous as a crazy dude from California, the helter-skelter thing, actually trolling the freaking media and saying something sane about crazy people. I'm referring to Charles Manson. Being crazy a long time ago meant something, but now today everybody's crazy. Says the guy that was portrayed as the crazy person. You should have seen how hard I was fucking laughing when I first saw that. That peak fucking irony for me, right? Again, in an arbitrary world, in a perfect world, had the pandemic happened and moving forward, okay? I want everybody to keep this in mind. All right, that this would have been a way better response and an actual understandable response. Because in my world, the government is apolitical and amoral. Why are we deciding what are good values and bad values? Like, again, we're also going to attribute what's hate speech and what's not hate speech, and what's essential workers, what are not essential workers. Like, why are we doing that? Again, we should not be giving any of these idiots any more than what was taken. But if you guys know how my temperament is, you're not taking what is rightfully mine, and if you do, I'm stealing it back, and there's nothing you idiots could do about it. What's mine is rightfully mine. Come and get it, bitch. If you dare. And don't mind all the me being surrounded by a bunch of unalived geese as a way to like putting their bloody heads on a fucking fence post to scare them a little bit. Oh yeah, that's a little bit mean towards the geese, but let's be honest, they're ethereal demons that I really don't like, nor do I respect. They're assholes. Okay, you're gonna hear me say this more than once. I know it's on the cruel side, but again, I never killed a fucking goose. Okay? They have no reason to hiss at me. Just piss on a dick. Leave me alone. I'm not interested in your existence. If you have to haunt me, well then, I'm gonna fucking destroy you. Anyways, I have not heard any person, even those that were diametrically opposed to the mandate, I haven't heard anybody say this. That I would give these assholes fucking credit. If somebody had come out and said that we don't want anybody to panic, we're going to take things slowly and look at the actual evidence. But in the meantime, we want everybody to go back living their lives. It is not up to us, as the government, to dictate your health. It is not up to us to tell you what to put in your own fucking body. Your health is your responsibility. We're only here to just do what the government is actually supposed to do, which is supposed to manage trade, the military, economy, anything else along those lines. That's what it's supposed to do. Not butting in the lives of other people and deciding, again, as I mentioned, the capacity of how many people could be in the gym. I have not heard anybody, no politician, utter anything super fucking rational like that. Instead, Lego had to defend this whole thing during his campaign. That grift was only going to go on as long as people were all going along with it. It wasn't sustainable for like 5 years at a time. But when you're in that, behind that maple iron curtain, and you're surrounded by a whole bunch of fear porn, and there's a lot of idiots that you're surrounded with, you do feel a particular way. You do. And I would also have to say, I think some of the heroes that are not getting enough credit would have to be the ones that committed fraudulence and actually justified fraudulence of QR codes for a profit. Whether they were doing it intentionally to help out other people or just helping themselves to help other people, I really don't fucking care. As long as they weren't like it wasn't a honeypot, it wasn't like a bunch of feds doing it, fine. I find these people to be heroic, actually. As a matter of fact, a lot of these people, whomever they are out in society that fraudulated, they did fraudulate these QR codes, but it was for good reason. They shouldn't have to be rotting in jail for something that the government was doing en masse. They were doing it 10 times worse. They had backers telling them what these so-called facts were and what their fucking policies were. How come Quebec was the only place in North America that was issuing curfews that once would place? How come Quebec was the only place where Lego stated out loud a threat? I don't believe in the whole rules for thee and not for me thing. I'm sorry. A private citizen in this case was justified into doing that. But you guys did it on a national and also a part of the global scale. You guys have blood in your hands. People fraudulating a QR code so people could just get this stupid thing so they could go to the fucking gym and just find loopholes to live their life. That's not a big fucking deal. I find this as minor as a jaywalking offense, and you still get ticketed. That's how lame this society and sick this fucking society is. I still think the remnants are there. As a matter of fact, if these people should go to jail, obviously these fucking criminal elite should also go to fucking jail. What makes Lego so fucking special that he should have been premier again? Why? I bet you anything. I bet you on my imaginary left nut that these guys were partying hard while the rest of us were under house arrest. They pulled a Johnson, Boris Johnson. They pulled one of those, and nobody was outraged. Or if they did, the outrage wasn't enough for these assholes to resign or just be dealt with properly. Because again, the fraudulators are actually, that's even a word. I would say I wouldn't even call them that. I would just call them, they're actual fucking heroes. They had balls. They were smart. They thought outside the fucking box and say, yeah, screw you guys. I'm gonna make a fucking profit off of this. Even if that means like it's self-serving, at least it's helping me help out other people, fine, who gives a shit. But for some reason, when the government does it, they're a bunch of sweet little angels that we should just listen to. You shouldn't question anything that Lego and company has been saying. Despite the fact that all they did was pump out fear porn. Every 100 days, they had to renew the not the Emergencies Act, but whatever fucking bullshit it was that they had to sign at least 10 times. Every 100 days. When really, there was no emergency. There was nothing. It was perceived as such a thing. It was perceived as. They should be getting it far worse than anybody else. You did it on a provincial fucking scale. You lied to people. Massively fucking lied. Not only that, there was the inflation and conflation of the fucking numbers without context. You guys were literally threatening people. Maybe not, hey, I'm going to destroy your family if you don't listen to me. It was more with the messaging. If you don't social distance, you're going to get fined. If you're going to be walking after hours of curfews, you're going to get fined. If you're not going to wear a mask, you're going to get fined. And we also encourage people to make sure that you're putting others in line. So which means, here's a snitch line. My favorite one was threatening the unvaccinated. That was my personal favorite. It's going to be my favorite until I'm dead. And then, as the tension, you felt the tension rise and that rise of energy, suddenly the politicians were kind of freaking out over the death threats they were receiving. Well, bro, I mean, people are just matching your fucking energy. It's only fair. It's only fair, my dude. Because that's what you were doing. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It's only fair. It's a natural feedback loop. As above, so below as above. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, right? But it was pretty obvious that was gonna fucking happen. Do you think for 1 second that you guys are the heroes? Nah, bruv. Nah. No fucking way, man. And that sickness. Give it time, it's gonna manifest into something else because you already programmed it in their fucking whatever's left of their brains, really. I haven't heard anybody else say anything rational. Anybody from the government say anything. Even the leader of the Quebec Conservatives didn't come out as hard enough to say, guys, your body, your choice. It's not the government's responsibility to be telling people what to put in their bodies. Who are these fucking people? They're just politicians that just live in their ivory towers out in the National Assembly telling you guys what to do while they're partying hard and you guys are all under house arrest. How the fuck is that alive? What? Is that the society you guys really want? But it doesn't matter because that social engineering was already there because of the old QLF. Let's tell on other people for having a monochrome of English somewhere. And we're going to report them anonymously and we're going to blast them on CTV News Montreal. Have you noticed it's only the Anglophones that they usually go after? No other ethnicity? If they did, you're going to be called racist. You don't want to piss off other people. We're racist. Okay, alright, fine, cool. Doesn't look very good on either side, though. You already doing that telling on another person, not learning to mind your fucking business a long ass time ago. So what's the difference here? I have not heard anybody say that. So we're still living in the sickness. We're still living it. It's just dormant. Just because it's not rearing its ugly head, that Hydra's head is still not coming out. Although you've seen it, it's still there. It's just dormant. You know, right now, you cut it off several times, but that head keeps, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Multiplying. And all you did was just put a bigger rug over it, and now it's dormant. Hey, managed to fall asleep after all this time. Oh, yeah, all those layers of covering it up. It's almost like a heated blanket for something. Or whatever. Yeah, very embarrassing. Very fucking embarrassing. Let's see what the next crisis is where we're going to see that sickness be manifested to something else. I can't wait to see it. Figured I'd just point it out. Because honestly, guys, again, moving forward, not interested in a paradigm shift with strings attached. So be vigilant. And, yeah, just be vigilant. Peace out.